General Hospital GH. Spoilers suggest that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, is working on an exit strategy from the mob. Now that he's the sole caretaker to Danny Morgan, Asher Antonses, he realizes the importance of moving away from a dangerous career and towards something where he can still keep busy but be there for his son. Will he swap the corrupt world of coffee for his Q family's business legacy? General Hospital spoilers. Jason has become the Quartermain enforcer. GH spoilers remind fans that Jason recently moved into the Quartermain mansion, taking one small step closer to walking away from his mob life. Still, it's more than just living with the Qs. Jason has been more preoccupied with Quartermain business and becoming the family's enforcer than helping Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, with mob work lately. Fans have seen Jason try to reason with Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, twice now when it came to her giving Wiley Corinthos, Viron Weaver, and Amelia Corinthos, Sequoia and Serenity Mork Mako, back to their mom, Willow Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen. Once, when he approached her at the Q Mansion and sided with her over Sonny, and once again at the PCPD. He also worked to smooth things over with Wiley and Amelia's custody when he approached Willow and Drew Quartermain, Cameron Matheson, with a solution to end all this conflict. GH spoilers. Next step. ELQ. Now that Michael Corinthos, Chad Duell, has officially departed from Port Charles, heading to a long-term burn facility in Germany to recover from his recent accident, will Jason be asked to take over his nephew's duties at ELQ? Ned Quartermain, Wally Kurth, and Tracy don't want Drew anywhere near the company. And while Ned does want to run things as CEO, that doesn't mean he won't need an executive to be his right-hand man. As Michael is well out of the loop, Jason leaving the mob to help his family out won't seem overly suspicious, and may be the perfect opportunity for Jason to exit the world of organized crime to work with his Quartermain family. It could be a win-win situation for all parties involved. Jason Morgan leaned back against the leather armchair in the Quartermain mansion study, his blue eyes scanning the room filled with family portraits, antique furniture, and the ever-present scent of polished wood. This room, much like his life, felt both familiar and foreign. He had spent years distancing himself from the Quartermains, carving out a life in the shadows of Port Charles as Sonny Corinthos' trusted enforcer. But now things were different. His gaze settled on a photo of Alan Quartermain, his late father. Jason's chest tightened with an odd mix of regret and resolve. Danny needed a father who could come home every night, not someone constantly living on the edge of a bullet or a betrayal. The mob life had taken its toll on Jason, on everyone he cared about, and now, for the sake of his son, he needed a change. Lost in thought, Tracy Quartermain's sharp voice broke the silence. Jason turned to see his aunt standing in the doorway, her arms crossed, an eyebrow arched in that classic Quartermain way. Just thinking about everything, Jason replied evenly, his tone guarded but respectful. "Well, you better start thinking faster," Tracy quipped, striding into the room. She gestured toward a stack of papers on the desk. "We've got a family business to save, and you're about to become a bigger part of it than you realize." Jason frowned. "I'm still not sure where I fit in all this." Tracy rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, you've already proven you're more than capable. You handled that whole mess with Wiley and Amelia better than most of us could. Besides, Michael's gone. Drew and Ned's ego is as big as this house. We need someone like you, Jason. Someone who can cut through the nonsense and get things done." Jason's jaw tightened at the mention of Michael. His nephew's accident had shaken the family to its core, and his absence left a void at ELQ that no one seemed ready to fill. "I'm not exactly corporate material," Jason said, his voice tinged with doubt. Tracy smirked. "Nonsense. You've got Quartermain blood running through your veins. You might not have a head for boardroom politics yet, but you've got instincts and loyalty. That's more valuable than any business degree. Jason leaned forward, elbows on his knees. If I do this, it's not just about helping the family. I need a way out of the mob, Tracy. For Danny, I can't keep living like this. Tracy's expression softened, just for a moment. And you think ELQ is your exit strategy? Jason nodded. It's a start, but if I'm going to do this, I'll need your help. I'm not playing games, and I'm not getting caught up in petty Quartermain squabbles. This has to be about the company and the family. Tracy's smirk returned, but there was a glint of respect in her eyes. Fair enough, but don't expect me to hold your hand, Jason. This is the Quartermain family, after all. If you're stepping into ELQ, you'd better be ready for a fight. The transition begins. The following week, Jason found himself standing in the gleaming offices of ELQ. The air buzzed with activity, assistants darting back and forth, phones ringing, and executives locked in intense conversations. Jason felt a pang of discomfort. This world was so different from the one he had known for decades. There were no threats to neutralize, no double-crossing enemies to outmaneuver. Here, the battles were fought with contracts and power plays. Ned Quartermain greeted him with a handshake that was firm but hesitant. Jason, good to see you here. Ned, Jason replied, his tone neutral. I'll admit, I was surprised when Tracy suggested you step in to help, but I'm willing to give it a shot. ELQ needs stability, and if you're serious about this, we can make it work. Jason nodded. I'm serious. Just tell me where to start. Ned handed him a folder. We're in the middle of negotiating a major deal with a European tech firm. Michael was handling the details before his accident, but now it's up to us. Take a look at the proposal. I'll bring you up to speed on the key players. Jason accepted the folder, his mind already shifting into problem-solving mode. He might not have experience in the corporate world, but he knew how to analyze a situation and make decisions under pressure. This was just another challenge, one he couldn't afford to fail. A new kind of battle. Over the next few weeks, Jason threw himself into his new role at ELQ. He spent hours poring over contracts, attending meetings, and learning the intricacies of the company. It wasn't easy, but he was determined to prove himself, not just to the Quartermains, but to himself. His biggest test came during a high-stakes negotiation with a European tech firm. The company's CEO, a shrewd businessman named Victor Kessler, was known for driving hard bargains. The meeting was tense, with both sides struggling to find common ground. As the discussion reached a stalemate, Jason leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. We're not just looking for a partnership, Mr. Kessler. We're looking for a long-term relationship. ELQ doesn't just invest in companies, we invest in people. If you're willing to meet us halfway, I promise you won't regret it. There was a moment of silence as Kessler studied Jason. Finally, he nodded. You make a compelling argument, Mr. Morgan. Let's see if we can make this work. Tracy's smile was almost imperceptible, but Jason caught it. For the first time, he felt a flicker of confidence in his ability to navigate this new world. Tensions rise. Not everyone was thrilled with Jason's transition into the corporate world. Sonny Corinthos was one of them. The mob boss paid Jason a visit at the Quartermain mansion late one evening, his expression a mix of frustration and concern. You're really doing this? Sonny asked, pacing the room. Leaving the business? Leaving me? Jason met Sonny's gaze. I'm not leaving you, Sonny. I'm just changing paths. Danny needs me, and I can't be there for him if I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. Sonny's jaw tightened. I get it, Jason, I do. But you've been my right-hand man for years. I don't know if I can do this without you. Jason placed a hand on Sonny's shoulder. You're stronger than you think, Sonny. You'll be fine, and I'll still be here, just in a different way. Sonny sighed, a hint of resignation in his eyes. Just promise me one thing. If things ever go south, you'll come back. No questions asked. Jason nodded. You have my word. A new beginning. Months passed, and Jason's life began to settle into a new rhythm. He became a steady presence at ELQ, earning the respect of his colleagues and even some of the more skeptical quartermains. He spent more time with Danny, enjoying the simple pleasures of fatherhood that he had missed for so long. One evening, as he sat in the Quartermain garden watching Danny play, Monica Quartermain joined him, a warm smile on her face. "You've come a long way, Jason," she said. "I think your father would be proud." Jason looked at Monica, his expression softening. "I hope so. I just want to do right by this family, and by Danny." Monica placed a hand on his shoulder. "You already are." As the sun set over Port Charles, Jason felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. He was still finding his place in the world, but for the first time, he felt like he was on the right path. The mob might have defined his past, but ELQ and his family would shape his future.